Never thought I would be on here making this video. I am in such a pivotal point in my life. I've been traveling for 6 months. I have been healing a breakup. I've been grieving a brother's loss. I've been grieving a loss of friends and other family members and grieving the old version of myself. But through this, excuse me, I'm also under the weather, so bear with me in advance. Through this journey, and although I've been traveling solo, there's still points in my life that hits me like, ugh, you still have some unhealed things that you have to face, that you have to talk through. And this is me healing out loud to you all. I feel like I can be my most vulnerable on my YouTube platform. And I really hope this resonates with some people who have either recently went through a breakup or is still healing from a breakup. I will say my last relationship ended in the top of 2024. And y'all might be like, that is a long time ago. But you ever been in situations where you break up with somebody, y'all are so in love that y'all still stay kin to each other. Y'all are still doing relationship things. Y'all are still staying at each other's houses. Y'all are still catering to each other. Y'all are still doing physical, emotional things as if y'all are in a relationship. And that's how I felt. That lasted all the way from 2024 until the top spring of 2025 when things started to get into reality that we were growing apart. And within that relationship, so many highs, and we also had so many lows. And I think that I found myself before I left traveling so fixated on the highs, the way I felt in that relationship, and not really recognizing the growth, the not really recognizing the growing that that person needed to go through as well as the growing that I needed to go through. I remember navigating the relationship, and I used to tell myself and tell them that they aren't doing anything wrong. They don't need to improve on anything. And I used to fault myself for everything in a relationship. Like I was the bad person. Like I made every mistake. And in reality, that's not the truth. Throughout these 6 months, I have really had time to just think and play so many different scenarios that I allowed things to disrespect and just certain things that I just brushed under the rug because I was being an avoidant person at the time and I didn't want any conflict. I avoided conflict, which caused me to avoid communication. And now, 6 months later, I'm just had the worst breakdown yesterday. And I broke contact, and it was going on 2 months. I'm gonna get a little emotional here. But I broke contact, and of course, I got no response. I wasn't looking for a response. I was talking to my mom about it, and I think it was just in my heart. You know, sometimes when you have things in your heart, you gotta get it off your chest. I always talk out loud to myself, talk to myself in the mirror, or journal, but sometimes that's not enough, you know. And out of love, out of care, I genuinely just wanted to check up on this person, and I did. And I received no response back. And you know, you have things running in your mind like, are they with somebody else already? And I'm not gonna say already because it's been a long time, but at the same time, it's like, geez, these are human nature questions and things that we ask ourselves when we are healing from someone we were with 24/7 for years. And it's not easy. And I know for me, it's always been hard for me to heal from a really deep emotional connection. And I would say I've only had two of those in my life. So I'm only speaking on two situations. And I think this one is just much more harder because of the impact it had on my life and losing my brother while being kin to this person and losing so many family members in the span of 3 years and then being there for me emotionally more than anything else, I think it's very difficult to sit with. It's something that I have not been able to process, especially because I'm navigating my emotions now by myself. I used to try to navigate them when I was with this person, and it was not going for me. I literally couldn't. And it caused me to disconnect from the situation super early on when I was battling a lot of things within myself. And yeah, I don't know. I know I'm not healed. I'm definitely far from that, and I'm not gonna say I am. Definitely am not ready to have anybody else in my space. Going to therapy, journaling, reading, finding routine, like these are things that are important to me before I ever want anybody to come back into my space, especially on this journey that I'm navigating. Like I just don't want anyone to be in this place right now in my life while I'm trying to get my emotions together on my own. And sometimes I just have these thoughts about this person, and as much as I want to reach out, which I did, broke contact, not ashamed of it, but it is what it is. As much as I want to, talk to this person, I know that they are, I'm sure, living a life that they wanted to live without me and are enjoying it. And so am I. I'm enjoying my time traveling. I've met so many amazing people. I've met so many versions of myself that I love so much, but I'm still healing from that situation. So, I'm still taking it day by day. I'm still trying to figure out things that I need to face and things that I'm working through with God. And it's just one of those things. And I think, I feel very empowered by myself because it's not easy for me to go from a situation to another situation. And there's no timeline on how fast that can be. Some people get out of relationships and a month, 2, 3 months later, there was somebody else. Love that for people. For me, it don't. It just doesn't work like that. Like I genuinely need time to myself to replay so many different things that happened, especially if I felt like I was the one who caused much of the headache in the relationship. But it also need to replay moments where I felt like I overlooked things or where that person lacked certain things that I didn't speak up on. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm just replaying so many scenarios like, Neve, are you serious? Like, you let them say that to you? Like, you allowed that to happen? Or you did that really without thinking? And I was reading an article. I wrote a dysregulated nervous system on my Substack if anybody want to read it. And how sometimes we're so used to certain things in friendships, relationships, and anything, and our nervous system is dysregulated, and we start to be on defense mode, and we start to be in survival mode. So we start to do things unconsciously, but I will say they're still consciously, but some of it is out of, honestly, your body can react to things that it's used to without you thinking about it first. I feel like that's where I was on edge a lot, and it caused me to act out of that survivor mode, out of defense mode, and all of these things that I am no longer, I'm far from I'm detached from that person and from having a dysregulated nervous system. And it's just lessons. Like you literally just learn lessons as you navigate different situations. And I'm so grateful that I have the awareness and the mental capacity to be able to pinpoint these things that I know I need to work on and things that I know I'm not tolerating moving forward. And if there is anybody out there who is having a hard time healing from someone or from something, just know that you aren't the only one. And no one should put a timeline on your healing journey. But I do hope that you are getting the necessary help, whether it's therapy, whether it's confiding in a friend or a loved one, whether it's journaling, whether it's reading, whether it's working out, cooking, like you're tapping back into your hobbies before you let anybody else in. You you don't have to be fully healed before you get into another situation. But the things that you truly want to work on before you do, please work on them. Because love can wait, promise you. Because when you keep going from situation to situation, then that's when you start creating a cycle. And then you wonder, why do I keep attracting these certain same type of people. And it's because you're not working on certain things that you need to work on that you didn't do. I won't like say that you just need to work on from that previous situation. Take it from somebody who was in a relationship, a very deep emotional mental relationship, and still was with somebody even though we weren't together, and now healing from that person and from that situation, on top of grieving the loss of my brother that I miss so much. So these two situations are so hard, and I can't even put it into words how difficult it has been for me emotionally to not talk to the person that you was your best friend and thought you were going to be with, forever. Even through the delusions, even through the back and forth, even through all of those things. And then missing my brother. It's the hardest thing to navigate. It's so hard to navigate. But we are strong over here, and all I can do is continue to do things that fulfill me, which I have been. But I'm not going to fault myself for having these thoughts and for taking my healing slowly and on my pace and on my time. Because in the past, there was a time where I got out of a relationship and I got into another relationship like a month or two later. And the gaslighting, the love bombing, and all of that occurred was so horrible for me. And I never want to do that again. I really want to give myself space from another human being and be the person that I will want to be with, you know. Facing my trauma. I feel like a lot of people do not face their trauma at all and don't go to therapy. And as much as you can talk to yourself and journal, that is just like 10% of what you need to do to heal from, especially childhood trauma. A lot of things that stem in a relationship usually always goes back to either a previous relationship, which people project on their current relationship because they haven't healed from that, or from their childhood trauma, which they have not been able to talk through. Okay, so with that being said, I'm wishing you the best on your healing journey. I'm just wishing you an abundance of joy and peace. You know, it's okay if you have to cry a couple times, but always pull yourself back up. Always lift your head up and just keep going, because people are going to continue to live their life without you. So best believe you need to continue to live your life without them as well. So peace and love. Thank you so much for listening to this and for allowing me to be vulnerable and giving me a space to talk out loud and heal out loud. And yeah, I will catch y'all really soon.